Hello, Wine World, and tonight I have a sip side note discussion with Ellen at the Wine Council, who will be discussing Croatian wine. Also, we will be discussing how she got to become a wine ambassador for Croatian wine, how her wine journey made her choose Croatia as her expertise. Also, we'll be discussing which wine certifications we've studied for, as well as just the life balance, both being Latinas in wine and being moms. So I'm going to add her now. Also, I want to share that badges. I have the availability to have badges tonight, and that means you are able to contribute a small donation, and that will go towards me supporting small wineries, the small producers. I'm going to be using the money to taste wines from these small producers and review them here and share them with you all so you know exactly which producers to pursue. So Ellen, thank you so much for joining tonight.
Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here to talk about one of my favorite wine regions.
I'm so excited for you. I brushed up on some history facts about Croatia earlier today, and I want to share at least two facts that I memorized. So
Yes.
one being that Zinfandel originates from the area, as well as there is 130 native grapes to this winery.
130, 16 appellations, and some facts here and there. 66 PDOs, and yes, you mentioned it at the beginning. In Croatia, there was not really a denomination of origin at the beginning. It was something that it started happening when finally Croatia joined the European Union. So that allowed Croatia to get more exportation, to get more business. So it's a country that I admire. It's a wine region I admire the most because of everything that it's been going on with them. All the ups and downs. Several empires have been there. They've been fighting land. They've been struggling for so many centuries, millennial. So it is quite complicated, and they thrive. They've been successful. What they are becoming successful and competing now with the international producers, with European counterparts. So that's something that I love working on, promoting the wine region itself, right?
Yes, I also, one of the facts that just popped up into my head that I want to share, I'm going to need help with the name, but I believe one of the major winemakers in the Judgment of Paris from
Yes.
Chateau Montelena.
Gerk, Michael Gerk, Mike Gerk. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Anna is online, so maybe she can correct me. He changes, to make it less difficult. It's now Mike Gerk, I guess. I don't want to sound like the native grape Gerk from Croatia, but he moved, and because of all the political problems, and we're not going to talk about that today or so many facts in history because it's long, right? So he left Croatia, and then he moved to Napa, and he was, the famous producer of the famous Chardonnay that won the Judgment of Paris, and that put Napa Valley on the spot, right? So that's one of the big contributions of some great Croatian people that I consider and I admire a lot. And also, there's a fun fact that they created the tie, the bow tie. Yeah. Did you know that? Yeah.
No, that's great. And I also read, I guess all these facts are popping back into my head, but I also read that this wine region specializes in orange wine, which I believe tonight you have to share with us.
Well, they've been doing some great like the winemakers these days, the young generations, what they're doing right now is they have a huge respect on tradition. What they're trying to do is they're trying to modernize certain things, but they're trying to bring back the tradition and the old ways to make wine, like using different vessels, right? Not the regular stainless steel or the oak barrel, but they're using also acacia, if I'm not wrong, and they're doing the concrete eggs. They're doing amphora. So that's a lot of experimentation. And I mean, I love their orange wines. I tasted one that is one of my favorites, and it's called Amphora Malvasia. That's from Istria, and the producer is Cavola. So that's actually one of my personal favorites. I love them so much. So it's 100% Malvasia Starska. And again, I am not Croatian, so my pronunciation is not the best, but I try and I do what I can, to respect the names of the Croatian wines. And that's one of the big challenges of the region. Because after everything that has been happening to them, all the wars, all the conflict, political issues, independence, etc., and oh yeah, I'm so happy. Croatian Premium Wine is saying on the way to USA. Great, you
Yes.
need to try it, Amy. As soon as you see it, just try it.
Oh, I
It's
will.
delicious. It's very good. So it's been a lot happening, right? So one of the main challenges in the market is when you go and try to check a Croatian wine, you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know what is that. So that's what I'm trying to do, and that's one of my main goals in promoting the region is through education, right? I am not into a specific something. I'm trying to promote the wine region itself because I love lesser known wine regions. I think there's a huge potential for Croatian wines. And as per the data that I was analyzing for my first Croatian Wine Ambassador course, that it happened on June 26th, it was great because I was just checking information, and it's a little bit difficult to get some accuracy some of most of the times regarding history or current wine data. The last data that I had, it was 2019, and Croatia was from the spot number 28. It was all the way to spot 11,
Wow.
in wine production or and as you know, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Croatia is a country that love to consume their wines. So sometimes they like to keep the wines for themselves because obviously the production is not massive, which is good, right? In a way, if we're talking about market, and if we're talking about mass production, that's a different story. They're focused now more in quality because before, by the time of the war, it was more quantity, and it was all owned, family owned, still is family owned, right? But it's more regulated with regards of quality and qualifications, and keeping still the tradition. So that's so many things that I admire about this wine region is that, and also the amazing native grapes that we can talk about, right? So today, and I wanted to show you the wine. I'm tasting thanks to Carabin. Okay, that's not enough. So I'm tasting Debit or Oyanoya. This is Debit. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Debit. Debit, it sounds like a debit card, right? But it's not. It is a currency that he used to, well, in the time of Napoleon, Napoleon used to charge Croats back in the days. Um, they were able to pay with fish and everything, but Croatians, they didn't have the money, so they were paying with wine. So the name came from that interaction of paying with wine and getting fish, so as an exchange for back in the day. So I'm not going to talk too much about history. But anyways, short story, David is grown in the Dalmatian coast. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Skradin, that's the region. And the main characteristic of this grape, what I'm finding today, is a lot of minerality. Delicious, acidic. I will say probably I have to pour a little bit more so I can revisit again because I was like, oh, this is very citrusy. I like it. easy drinking and easy going. And it's been macerated for 14 days, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah.
Look at the color.
Gorgeous color.
Yeah.
Looks
It's a
golden on
nice
this side.
golden on the side. And as you can see, I'm using, remember I told you about my favorite glasses. So anyways, so this wine, what I find definitely is probably is an expression of the terroir. I haven't been to Croatia. That's the funny part, right? But I realized that the more that you taste, the more that you learn, and the more that you study a region, sometimes you don't necessarily need to be there to learn it, right? You
Agreed.
can be there to get the experience. But now I consider myself an expert in Croatian wines because I've been tasting. I don't want to say a number because I already lost the count. And I've been every time I see a new native variety, I'm so into it. And that's another feature that I like from Croatian wines. It's a challenge for your palate. It's something different, you know. It's not your regular. I don't want to say any specific region, but nothing against other regions, but it's not your typical Bordeaux, not your typical Semillon or your typical Sauvignon Blanc. You can find in this wine similarities with maybe Gruner, Veltliner, maybe because of the minerality. That's what I feel. And then some flowers. So
Mm.
it's flowers, lots of flowers. So it's very refreshing, and I decided to pair it with some sushi. So let me taste it. Sorry,
No, please,
is that
please
okay?
pair. So for those who are just joining the live, I'm just going to do a quick recap as she takes a food pairing and wine taste.
I'm not eating, but
El-
I'm just gonna show you.
oh, perfect. Ellen is from Toronto, and she is a Croatian wine ambassador. And she was just sharing some awesome facts about Croatia, as well as starting to describe the wine she is drinking tonight.
Yes. Okay. So um, again, it's a long finish. What I've been finding in this wine. You know that the flowers. I would say probably chamomile,
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
chamomile, and wow, citrus. A lot of citrus, definitely. The more I revisit it with my nose, it's just that's what I find. So that's virtue of these wines, and as you can see, it's the alcohol is 13%. So we can see it right here. That is, higher in alcohol. Most of the times, the Croatian wines, because of the position of the wineries, are going to get a lot of sunlight, right? Another fun fact about Croatia, they receive 2,750 hours of sun. I hope that I'm not mistaken, but it's around that number. Okay, so imagine having all the sun, and then let's say a producer like Stina. If you see one of my Croatian wines in the back, Stina is also in Dalmatia, and their soil is pretty much rocks, like white rocks. And imagine that it's beautiful just to see it and just to feel that the vine is there and is struggling and is trying to, and is receiving all this sunlight. And then these wines are going to, no, I'm not talking about this one right now. I'm talking about Stina, for example, their Poship, their Bugava that I've tasted, and their Plavash Mali, which is the red variety. um, it's delicious. It's concentrated. They are full body most of the time. That's what I feel.
Mm.
You know, every palette is different, but I find it full, not the bugava. I was talking the other day to a person, and I was just like, I didn't find too heavy the bugava in my mouth. I found it lighter to drink. So again, then we are talking about Dalmatian coast, like 1,200 islands. Some of them haven't been like really populated, and some of the best wineries are in the islands, right? um, that region, sorry, and Anteflavic, I already told you from where it's from. Stina, and also Porta Catarina. It's a beautiful villa that is in Corchula. That's another island. So we're still in Dalmatia. Now we can go a little bit northern and then we can go to Istria, which is one of my favorite regions that I hope I can visit one day. So Istria is very famous. And when people think about Croatia, they think, oh, yeah, partying on the beach. And, I'm all this food and just sitting at the beach. But there's more. It's history. It's a lot of history. And it's not about Game of Thrones here, even though it was filmed there.
Yes.
But it's considered a foodie heaven. So when you go to Croatia, I mean, I'm keep saying this to myself. I need to go. I need to go as soon as possible. Um, it's warm. It's I don't want to say tropical. A lot of sun, a lot of beautiful water, Adriatic Sea everywhere, and the Mediterranean gastronomy. Imagine those herbs in your fish. I don't know if you like seafood, but I love seafood. It's beautiful. So it's pretty much summer. Every time I think about Croatia. So there's so much to say about the region. But the most important thing is to discover the grapes. In Istria, we're going to find some of the most important grapes that I didn't mention in Dalmatia, but I'm going to just give you a few names. In Istria, we're going to find the super famous Malvasia Starska, and they say that it's native from Croatia. It doesn't have anything to do with the Malvasia from Italy or any other kind, because it's a very distinctive grape that it has different names, but actually Malvasia starska is because it's from the Eastern region. So that's indigenous to the region. Okay, so beautiful wines. I find every time that I have Malvasia is this honey feeling, beautiful, and is not is fruit forward. I find it very good, delicious. There's so many things that you can do with Malvasia Starska, and it's very versatile. Same as Poship. Poship is the one from Dalmatia that I love so much. I love Poship. It's refreshing, delicious, fruit forward too, and it's just more the tropical version of I. That's how I call it. That's the way I describe it. Everybody calls it different way. But Poship is also very interesting because it's a wide variety that it can, age very well, right? Plavash Mali is the most popular, and I think you're aware of that. Plavash Mali is the one that is, related with Trividrag, and Trividrag is related, or is called Zinfandel in California, Primitivo in Puglia. We kind of know that, and I'm not going to say the difficult name because it's always difficult to pronounce the um, actual Croatian name, but it's Seljenak Kastelanski. I guess that's the way it is. So we were talking about Istria again. In Istria, we're going to find another beautiful grape that is so earthy. It's red variety. It's amazing, and is going to be citrusy for sure. But then it is also citrusy, but more mineral forward than fruity. I really like this one. It's beautiful. So I was talking about Teran in Istria. When I think about Teran, I immediately think about a nice stew, a nice day in the forest, camping with a nice acidic red wine. That is absolutely delicious. It's something different that you need to try. Um, and challenge yourself. The more you try Croatian wines, and that's the reason why I have a big collection and I've been drinking it for a long time. It's different. It makes a difference in your palate. It makes a difference in everything else in all the wine regions that you taste in. And I do love all the wine regions too. But Croatian grapes, I don't know. I fell so in love with it, and there's so many grapes that I would like to tell you. It's 130 for you to taste, but we don't have too much time. And also, I wanted to talk to you about the most planted white grape and the most planted grape in Croatia, which is Graševina. Graševina is, oh my God, it's beautiful. It's fruity. It's delicate. It's more like a calm drink, but it's delicious. It's so good, chilled with. I drink it alone. Like I drink it without food. It's. I mean, most of these wines are very food friendly. Croatian wines are very food friendly, and you don't have to pair with a specifically Croatian wine. That's a good thing. I've been pairing Croatian wines with traditional food from Latin America, and we're both Latin Americans, right? So imagine I'm pairing it with empanadas or um, with pupusas or something like that, and
Mm,
even with Japanese food right now. So it's
very
amazing.
versatile.
Very, very versatile for sure. And there's so many things that they do with Grashevina as well. Grashevina is from the Slavonia region, and Slavonia is where all the oak barrels are coming from, and the big producers use Slavonian oak for that. So it's a beautiful oak that is imparting amazing flavors to the wine, as you are aware. No, it's not Slovenia like people mention sometimes. Oh, it's the Slovenian oak. No, 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 Slavonian oak. So that's another fact to remind people about Croatia. So yeah, I love Grashevina. It's really good. If I could drink it all the time, I could drink it too. You need to try. And in the States, they have good varieties. Here we have Kutjevo in Canada, and Kutjevo is one of the oldest wineries in Slavonia. Very, very nice. It's a nice property. One of my friends is from there. So yes, she could tell you a lot more than myself because she's from there, but I don't know where she is. But anyway, she's supposed to be around here.
Ellen, you are clearly so passionate about Croatian wine. Just your mannerisms alone just really exuberate how this is your region. And
Thank you.
I would love to, I know you mentioned a little bit earlier for those who are jumping on now in our live, if you could just say or restate how you got started in Croatian wine and how you pursued to become an ambassador. What does one have to do to become one ambassador?
Sure. Okay. So I started by curiosity, to be honest with you. I started over a year ago, and I came across with the importers. I don't know if they're watching. Hello. But the importers, I realized that there was something going on, and then I saw different wines, and I said, oh my God, Croatian wines? Like I remember seeing Croatian wines in the book of the CSW is very like mentioned, or in the Atlas of Wine from Dancis Robinson. But other than that, WZ maybe mentions Istria and describes Terra Rosa, which is the main soil in Istria. So imagine Terra Rosa, one of the amazing soils that is also in Conaguara. Um, so I decided to start trying it. And then I'm like, oh my God, I want more. Can I try this other one? Can I try this? Can I try this? Can I try that? And then I started doing some tastings. I started with Grashevina. I fell in love with it. I was like so passionate about Grashevina. And then I said, I'm going to try more. I'm going to try more. And then I kept trying and I kept studying and I kept doing tastings. And then I was chatting with some people. I met great Croatian people. Um, and I met other people that is not Croatian, but they were very supportive and they wanted to learn more about Croatian. And they were like, I wish there was a program, not a program, but like a course to educate about Croatian wines. And I'm like, I'm actually working on something like that right now. And I started like probably working on December, starting doing all the research and asking sources. And then but it's difficult because of the language barrier sometimes. It can be hard to make yourself understood, right? That what you want. I even got in contact with professors in universities in Zagreb, the Chamber of Commerce in Zagreb, and the Chamber of Economy, Wines of Croatia. They've been supporting me a lot, and they are supporting this course that I designed because my background is PR and communications. I've been in travel, and then I became an educator, not wine at the moment because I was doing travel and tourism in college. I was teaching that. So I learned how to design a course. So instructional design for me was something that I started working on, and then I decided to create something because the resources for Croatian wines are here and there, and there's so much that what I did is I was trying to put everything together so people can understand from history facts, from fun facts, from particular things from Croatia that people don't even know. They don't even know that Croatia is producing wines, and they are winning awards like in the Decanter World Wine Awards. They recently, well, they were released today, I guess, or yesterday. But for example, last year we had Graševina de Goto from Kutjevo, Testament from Dalmatia. They've been winning a lot. Klei, Riesman, and many producers. And I love San Hills too. I love San Hills. It's another producer from Dalmatia Coast. They work with two of the appellations. They work in two of the regions. I don't know if you heard about them, Dingash and Posup.
Mm-hmm.
So Dingash is they produce this very bold, structured, delicious, full body red Plava right? Is wow. Every time I describe it, it's just wow. Oh, thank you, Croatian Premium. So they won 254 decanter awards today.
Wow.
So when they started winning all these awards back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, and they've been like, wow, they've been competing with, as I told you at the beginning, with another countries that they've been looking, winning awards for so many years, like Italy, France, Spain, and well, we had a couple of winners from Canada too today. So it's a lot for Croatia to become a wine region that is finally getting the recognition, that they deserve. Not only because of all they've been through, but all, the challenges in history, all the challenges in politics, and all the challenges in the pronunciation of the grapes that sometimes people, Cabernet Sauvignon, whatever. But then you come with Sergenak, Castellansky, as I told you at the beginning. It took me a few times and a voice note to my friend from Croatia asking her how to pronounce. Because if I'm teaching something, if I'm educating people about the wine region, I need to have an idea how to pronounce it, right?
Yes.
The same thing as when you're taking the French wine scholar, or when you're taking the Italian, or when you're taking the CSW, you kind of have an idea, need to have an idea of that. So that's how I decided to start writing, and I started gathering books. I love the actual books. I couldn't find any books that talk about Croatian wines the way I wanted to hear. There's a couple of books out there in Kindle that you can find, but most of them are telling me where to buy the wine in Croatia, go to this bar. But that's for me more like a wine tourism thing. But I want people to know that Croatia is producing wines, and they are now, exporting a little bit more, right? And Croatia it has a big potential, huge potential, like to be one of the, right now is in the top 15 probably, right? They can be in the top 10, but at the same time, I wouldn't want Croatia to become one of those commercially mass producers. It's so nice to have those small wine regions that you're like, oh my God, I'm so fascinated by these cute little wine regions. They're not like that small, right? But yeah, so that's how I became so passionate about it, and I decided just to, you know what? Let's educate people, right? And I'm studying towards my CWE eventually when I finish my CSW, and then I'm going to be, like certified, like you are, and to teaching the best way possible, because it takes a lot of work.
Yes, it does.
And a lot of tasting, right? And I'm telling you, I didn't go to Croatia by doing all this research. I had a couple of friends that supported me in this path. I had a lot of people not from Croatia supporting me as well. And now it's live, and it's not really live, but it's in my website, And then when you register, we set up a date, and then we can arrange sessions, right, with wine or without the wine. So that's how it is right now. Hopefully, it's going to be presential at the moment in Canada, right? And eventually in the States. Who never knows? Yeah, I don't know. So I have a great supporter.
Progress to be in the States sooner,
yeah,
rather than
it's
later, especially after so many awards and recognitions just from today from Decanter.
Yeah, exactly. And as I told you before, Croatia has all these awards from a couple of years before. And yes, as they were, thank you, Croatian Premium Wine. I know you support me a lot, and they've been with me since day one too. And they are in the States. I also got the support from the importers here. They were like, "Oh, okay, this girl is crazy about our wines, right?" So and I'm like, okay, give me more. I need to try more. I need more. And then the more you try, the more you learn. And maybe I didn't feel the saltiness of the Adriatic Sea in my nose, right? Because I haven't been there yet. I mean, I've been in other areas in Europe, but I haven't been into Croatia. So imagine that. And I haven't been there, but I feel it. I get to know the country by my senses. That's
Yes.
that's what I enjoy about this wine region. So
Yes.
I became a pretty much an expert, and I decided to buy the hashtag for Croatian Wine Ambassador. So whoever wants to take the course, is registered under the Wine Consul, and I have the support from the Chamber of Economy in Zagreb and Wines of Croatia as well. So when you get your certificate, it says Croatian Wine Ambassador, your name, and then you're able to use the hashtag in all your social media.
I love your story. Again, you're so passionate about this region, and it's so nice to see something so different out there. Um,
It is. The
it's nice
best
to
thing
niche
is,
down, and you're
yeah,
really the expert. You're gonna stand out very well, and I
thank
wish
you.
you the best of luck. And you know how you said we can go on your website for the course.
Yes, that's correct. It's just a little bit of details there, but you get right now it's a lot of work to work on a course. So my first students or attendees, oh my God, one of them was a wine educator. She's amazing. And another super one, amazing sommelier from here in Toronto, and some other people that been signing up. Some are my friends from Croatia. They want to become Croatian wine ambassador. I'm like, you are Croatian already. You're supposed to be a Croatian wine ambassador already. But it's just a joke. So it's available. The plan is going to be right now is 60 pages. What I have of information, lots of information, sources, and I'm working in a larger version so people has more access to it. I have some contributors from the States. I have Anna. Oh my God, she's amazing. Anna Aroma. If you don't follow her, follow her. She's amazing. She's a pro. She's another Croatian wine ambassador herself. She's also half Croatian, half French. And she's doing a great job promoting the region in the States as well. And I just love her. And she's so passionate and down to earth. It's not I like the people that it talks about wine with passion, uh, in a way that you need to be educated about the region and down to earth at the same time, because wine should be for everyone, should be accessible and diverse, right?
That's
Yeah.
I agree completely. I like to think as wine as a connection, not only to the wine region but amongst each other. And I wanted to make the point that with Croatia, I know you mentioned several times, yes, you haven't been there, but you've delved into learning more about this region just through tasting wine, and I think that's a beautiful
And
thing.
reading and tasting and showing it to other people. And I've been having up then, if someday when we meet up, I will tell you the terrible stories that I had on the way on my path of wine education. But because it's not perfect, right? It's
Right.
not going to be perfect. But this I found is one of my niche, my wine niche, and I keep it very close to my heart because I've been working on it. I'm
Yes.
still working on it. I'm keep discovering. This is a grape that I wanted to taste like for a while, and I'm waiting for Gurk, which is another indigenous grape that is going to come in August. I'm just doing like this, can't wait. And then I tried another one that is called Scarlet a few days ago. I don't know if you saw my post. A very interesting grape, and it's called Scarlet because of a scarlet fever, because the grapes they get all these red blotches.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's a wide variety. It's interesting too, but it's very easy drinking. They have also a lot of international varieties because of the influence of all the empires, the influence of the neighbors, Italy, Austria. Oh my God. So we have amazing grapes here and there to play around. So I hope you can try them as soon as possible.
Yes, I hope so too. You gave me a great site to look into. I checked it out and now I know who to contact. There are two stores here in New York that I'm going to do some more research into, and I will definitely be contacting them to get a taste
Yes.
of Croatian
Don't
wine.
forget to try Terran and Croatian Premium Brand. They can also help you too. I don't know how many states do you deliver, Mirena? They can tell you, they can give you more information about that. And my only advice is keep tasting something different because, well, it's hard with the kid because, we're mothers. So
Right.
it's kind of hard sometimes, especially when you're working on several projects. And that's, I don't know how I'm doing it. I'm just trying. But yeah, it's the more I try, the more you try, the more you learn. And it should be a great opportunity, now right now that we are after COVID. Um, it's a great opportunity to get together with people and learn about something that you don't know. If you keep drinking the same thing, you won't be able to train your palate. So that's
Exactly. I couldn't
one
agree
of
more.
my philosophies in education, in wine education. So yeah.
Yes. I want to segue into the next part of our chat. You mentioned you are studying for the Certified Specialist of Wine through the Society of
Yes.
Wine Educators. And
Yes.
how are you doing with that?
It's very hard because I have a toddler at home. I think I told you that I have a 2-year old, and it's hard, very hard. But now he's finally in daycare, so I have a little bit more stretch. I'm able to work more in my wine projects, and I have to study. I have to study a lot because I have a few friends that are already past the CSW, and they're like, "Oh my God, Ellen, you need to memorize the book," and I'm like, "What?" Pretty much, right? You can
Yes.
tell me you already took it. So,
Yes.
but I understand. But Miss Jane is so bubbly, and it's amazing to hear from her. And I don't know if you're gonna attend her maps seminar this Saturday. That's something interesting. I love maps. I love geography. And one of the things that I love about wine is that I have the best of my favorite worlds, right? Travel, geography, history, art, culture, and then wine, right?
Yes.
And
Sounds
wine
very
shouldn't
fun.
be, yeah, exactly. So right now that I'm studying that, I completed my WSET 3 a while ago. So I didn't officially use the credential because before I was just, you know, doing some posts here and there in the wine Consul. I was doing a couple of tastings. I was working with the main store here and doing tastings in the store, inside the store. That's how I started. Like I'm talking about 2011. And I found this passion about, oh, I want to know more. I want to know more. And then I started doing the Italian Wine Scholar. I finished the Italian Wine Scholar in 2015. Then I decided to stop and I said, WSET diploma. 2 years, and then I was still traveling, doing something else, and in my job as an instructor. And then I was like, oh, then I got married, then I had my kid, and then I was like, oh no, I think I'm going to focus on something else, which is wine education. So for me, is more like um, raising the awareness and about regions, but I want to work with smaller regions. I don't want to work with the big ones. Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
that's how it's going. I can see my book from here that is,
Yeah.
getting dust.
I
Oh,
think.
I completed my Spanish wine scholar too.
Oh, wow.
I
So
just
you're,
need
you're
to
Italian
write.
wine scholar, Spanish wine scholar. Excellent.
Yes, and I'm not doing the French. It's too hard. And now,
It's a little
I like to.
intimidating.
It is. It is.
Yeah, but
And
I'm
I like.
interested in doing the Italian wine scholar
Oh
probably
my God,
in the
it's
next
beautiful.
3 years. As my followers know, I'm also a mom with an almost 2 year old and a newborn on the way. But I think I
Yes.
just want to share before we go into mom talk that I wanted to share my best study tips for the CSW. I'll be honest in
Okay.
saying I took the exam twice. I failed the first time by 3 points.
And I love to
Devastated.
hear that because the rating, the passing rate is so difficult, and but I like the challenge.
You know what? I do too. And I think my biggest takeaway was when you go into the academy this on your own to study, definitely go through those modules. It helps prepare you for the digital time constraints that you have. So by practicing the multiple choice over and over again, and you're getting quicker at reading questions on the screen, that's number one. Number two, I use the table of contents as a really good study guide. So we were both mentioning how France is the biggest chapter. So break it
Yeah,
down,
pretty
break
much.
it down by each region, get everything read, highlight, write whatever flashcards you have to do. My favorite website for flashcards was Quizlet.
Yes.
So you can look up other people's study cards too, just by
I
typing
was,
in CSW chapter,
yeah.
whatever it was. And then I started to print out their study guides. And so I was able to read it during lunch break and then apply, tasting and reading a chapter was another way I combined how it would stick. So if I was tasting something from Greece, let's just say, I would drink wine from that region for that
Yes.
night or that week, let's say, and help connect it on that level as well. But it's really about practicing the multiple choice
And the
and
workbook too. I
the
find that the
workbook. Yeah,
workbook is very interesting. I like it a lot, and I think I want to complete it after I finish reading the book, because it's different when you are in the Wine Scholar Guild than when you are in the Society of Wine Educators. I find that with the Society of Wine Educators, it's you have to understand the information more than memorizing it.
yes,
And sometimes, I mean, I love the Welsh Color Guild. That's why I keep taking them. I'm planning to take another one eventually, not the French. But yeah, it's a little bit different, and I like that these two are not necessarily compulsory with the tasting component, which it can be hard sometimes,
right.
you know, um, in our situations, right? So it's great. We can still study, and we don't necessarily need to drink the wines at the same time. We can revisit later. So that's something that I like, and I try to avoid sometimes with my kid. I cannot be drinking every day. Nobody. And I'm telling you because I keep seeing bottles of wine every day with people every single day. And I'm like, you cannot really drink that amount of wine every single day. Nobody can. Like, I cannot, I can't finish a bottle now as I used to do it before.
Right.
And I'm doing it a little bit more professional. It's different when you are hanging out and sharing with friends, right? And,
Right.
so that's a good thing about the Coravin that I open, I keep, and I revisit and I try it later.
Right.
So
Yeah, I have to
that's a help.
say that you know, just having a passion for wine and wanting to still learn. So you are definitely more, uh, you know, advanced where you have a lot of certifications under your belt already, and you're able to compare the WSET, the CSW, and Wine Scholar Guild. I mean, that is amazing accomplishments, Ellen. I mean,
Oh, thank you. It's a long way. Wine. I was talking to Beverly. I am a sommelier that I admire a lot here in Toronto, and she's very humble. She's amazing. And you know what? She tells me I'm a forever wine student, and I'm like, that's exactly
yeah,
what I feel. I'm a forever wine student too. Like you cannot learn it right away. I can tell you. I've been drinking Croatian wine for more than a year. I've been reading, I've been doing tastings, I've been doing this and that, but I still need to learn more. I need to learn more, and I don't need to be there right now because it's right now I can't. But let's say I'm digging more and I'm updating the booklet that I have for Croatian Wine Ambassadors now. It's getting bigger, and then it's a little bit thick, and people can be like overwhelmed with so much information. But you know what? It's nice, and I can wait to show their certificates that you can get when you finish the course with me. Eventually, it's going to be on demand, so people can finish it on their time. It's probably a 1 day session, I would say,
really,
and you can do it in 1 day session. I wanted to do it in two, but then when you're starting something like this, you come across with so many challenges. So I'm like, okay, you know what? one session, one day. People don't want to be in the computer anymore all day like before, with COVID. Everybody's like zoomed out. So I'm going to start doing it presential as well, teaching the course. And, hopefully, right now is the first in North America. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to have a contribution on wine, especially Croatian wine that, sometimes it's like people is looking for resources or learn a little bit more. And, I have the small option or the large option for you to study about Croatian wines and, a lot of recommendations of wine. I have so many favorites. I mean, it's great. It's great to have an importer here who's bringing a lot of beauties that I tasted with international writers, like Simon Wolf a couple of months ago. So I'm just telling you, this is the type of thing that I like about this region. It's so diverse, versatile. It's interesting. Is another thing. It's just something else. Yeah.
It is. And to we'll wrap up our chat tonight just by saying, Ellen, what is your best advice as a mom and wine enthusiast and wine expert? How do you balance it all?
Well, number one, and I have to be realistic, now that my kid is finally in daycare, I'm like, I was crying, but I think I needed it and he needed it. And that's number one. We have to focus when family is going to be first for me all the time. And then my travel and my wine projects, right? But my family is first. So obviously, when my kid is back from daycare, and now it's just like, oh my God, I'm with him. The quality of time is different. I can feel it. Before I was with him the entire day working from home, and it was just like, give me a break. I can't finish this, and my advice will be, and I'm not the best example ever because I'm trying to reorganize everything now that he's in school. But the best advice is prioritize, right? Priority is family always, but if you have studies and work and wine at the same time, I would say, what is coming first? Like for me right now, I have to prepare my course for the next group that is in a couple of days. Then I have to send certificates for the first graduates. I don't want to call them like that, but the first people who completed the course with me. I'm not an academy, okay? So I would say keep tasting whenever you can. Carabin, I know that some people is not really a fan of it, but I find it useful because I'm able to taste and drink whenever I want, revisit, taste again, recommend, and that's what I'm doing. So studying one thing, completing it, revisiting the region by tasting the wines, as like you say that I'm doing it right now. In regards of courses, don't rush. I am not rushing anymore. I'm taking my time. It's not a competition here. I don't need to chase an award or do something, with my certificates right now. I don't have to rush. I want to prepare myself. I don't. If I'm passing the Spanish wine scholar, it's going to be with highest honors. I don't want a simple pass. If I'm doing the Society of Wine Educators, at least I want to pass the first time if I can. I will try. I will try. I will try because I know it's hard, and the passing rate is the first time is very difficult. But I will do what I can.
You have to keep in mind you have your WSET level 3, so you do have a great foundation already, and that's why I'm fully confident you will pass.
And that's what a friend told me. She's from Puerto Rico, and she's like, "Oh my God, Ellen, but you already did the WSET 3," and I'm like, "Oh, do you compare them? Because I find it's like, ooh, it's kind of overwhelming, but I like it. I like it. I like challenges. So if you like a challenge and you want to work more with wine, keep tasting, read simple. Some people cannot really get into wine school all the time. Get into tastings, get into wine groups. Oh, by the way, I have wine groups. I haven't done it in a while, but every Wednesday I was doing wine groups for regions, right? So I think I'm gonna bring them back so people can, join and talk about wine. So you're more than welcome to,
oh yes,
chat.
Please let me know because I'm always looking
chat.
for
Yeah.
A group to bounce ideas off and learn from, and
We
definitely.
did this amazing wine study group, and as a recommendation, a wine study group that I had and I created for the Spanish Wine Scholar. It was the best thing that ever happened to us. We did like, we have tables, we have comparative tables of regions of grapes or denomination of origins. Like, oh my God, or wineries. We have so many resources right now that I'm like, ooh. So that is one thing. Finish one thing first. Don't rush into the other one. I have plenty of time to complete the CSW. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to get it when I have to get it. Right. When the time comes,
Right.
I will get that. And then the CWE, well, it's going to take longer, but
Yes.
you know, it's again another process. It's like taking the diploma from WSET, 2 years. I don't want to say the amount of money that you have to spend on that, but it's a lot. Plus the tasting component that you have to do in the diploma, that is a lot too. So all those things add up, and then I like my wine projects of wine education. That's what I'm trying to do. Like, if you want to be a mom and drink wine, be a mom and drink wine. One thing first, and the other one is going to go after. You know,
Yes.
so
Well,
that's
great
my long message.
advice. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for your advice. If anyone has any questions, please add them in the question box below and we can answer them. I just want to share my best advice as a mom and wine educator would be bouncing off of what Ellen was saying. Um, for me, family comes first. So now my timeline with wine certification programs is kind of on the back burner, but that's okay because now I'm also taking my time. I think my next goal is going towards the Italian wine scholar and or the Italian wine ambassador from the Vin Italy Academy.
In Italy. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, so
doing
I'm
that too.
going back and forth. I'm deciding what to pursue next. But in the meantime, I am reading more into Italian grape books and learning like the native grapes and really picking up on Instagram, like who is having special talks. So I'm niching down into that. Um,
I love
but
it. It's great.
yeah,
Let's have
and then
another chat for Italian wines. Oh, I
yes,
love it.
yes, it's the last name. I felt like I should just go for the Italian route. France, I'm just too overwhelmed by. Also, I just feel like there's already too
Yes,
many.
yeah,
Um,
a lot of people into
yeah,
French
but I
wines,
just connected
and
with Italian because that's where I started my wine journey. I fell in love with a Chianti while in Tuscany on a Euro trip.
yes.
So I just feel like it kind of made a full circle with getting there. But
So that's one fun fact about Croatia, and I keep repeating Croatia. But
of course,
Istria, when you go to Istria, you're going to hear people speaking Italian, and you're going to hear and you're going to see all the dishes, the similarities with Italy.
right,
It's very similar because of the influence, right? Because it's their neighbor countries,
right.
and some of the grapes. So there's one producer. They did a blend that I recommend you whenever you can get it in your hands. It's called Benvenuti. They also have
Mm-hmm.
awards. Benvenuti. They did this blend from Tempranillo, Nebbiolo, Teran, and what was the other? Am I missing one grape? I can't remember. But anyways, Benvenuti is absolutely Calderoso, and right now I have the 2017 beautiful wine. So imagine having the Nebbiolo in a Croatian wine in a blend is super complex, and wow, it's just amazing. I can drink the whole entire bottle in one sit. That wine is amazing. I love it. So again, that's another recommendation that I can give you, and
Yes.
that's some of my main and favorite wines that you can see behind. And just ask me, and next time we can do Italian native grapes.
Yes, I would love that. So, Ellen, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining tonight on Sip Side Note. We learned so much about Croatian wines. It was a great
Thank you.
introduction. Honestly, you killed it. It was great. You are
Thank you.
so well educated about the region. You have your course. Those who are interested, please contact Ellen if you are interested in learning more about Croatian wine. And
Yes.
and
Yes,
since we
exactly.
do not
Thank you
have
so
any
much.
further questions, I'd like to end tonight with thank you for joining And
Oh, and I have to show you how to cheer in Croatian.
oh, please end it with that.
Mirena, am I pronouncing it correctly? Shiveli?
Shivoli.
Shiveli. Živeli, yeah, it's a very nice way to say cheers. Pretty much, I learned it with Croatian premium wine in the first tastings, and then I learned it here with the tastings I did. So anyway, contact me for more information. Yes, Super Istrian from Istria, obviously, it's amazing. Thank you again, Amy, so much. It was very interesting. I love your time, and I do appreciate it that you invited me.
Thanks again. Have a great night.
Okay.
Take care.
Have a good night. Take care. Bye bye.